Right. So today we are going to see a topic called as software requirement documentation. It's simply called also called as software requirement specification (SRS). Like we already prepared the SRS. Now we'll see how, what, and why we required this software requirement document. Software requirement document is also be called as software requirement specification (SRS). Okay. Now let me see what actually this. So this is a document that it indicates the name itself. What actually the document consisting here? So it consisting of some official statements. Official statements means there is a proper communication has to be done and some sort of the member of understanding between the members in the team and what actually need to do, what actually not to do, and how it need to do, and what are the prerequisites, what are the post requirements is required to implement to develop the project. Now it also include both the definition of the user requirements as well as the specification of the system requirement. As I already told you that in the last class, software requirement consisting of two types, user requirements and system requirement. So in the both, it has to consider in this of SRS or SRD, it consisting of both user requirements as well as system requirements. So remember the word, the design. It is not a design document, only some sort of pictorial representation we are representing. As far as possible, it will should set of what the system should do and how it has to do. So what's the definition of the software requirement document, or what is the purpose of software requirement document in a simple line? What the system need to do and how it should be do. That the simple theme of SRS or SRD. Now coming to this, here there is a there are 6 requirements that requirement document should satisfy. The 6 requirements is, the first requirement is it has to specify only the external system behavior. External system behavior in the sense, like once you are going to be deliver the product, how we need to be operate that one, how externally it look like, the shape, the operating of that, all such type of external looking, the things has to be specified clearly in this software requirement documentation. The second thing is it has to specify the constraint. When you talk about the constraint means, definitely it deals with non-functional requirements, right? So constraints on the implementation, we have to be defined or specify clearly. So it has to be give chance to extend the work, that is easy to change. We can need to any changes required at any sort of phases. Easily we have to be study this document so that we can get idea how the project has to implement it. Like it's a manual. The fourth point here is we have to be give some sort of reference tools where if any sort of clarifications is required, when already you have developed this product, you leave the company, again somebody has to come over there, he got the issues of that your project which you are developed. So he simply open the SRS or SRD and will refer the document. So that's why reference tool is very important for maintenance purpose. When we say maintenance means like we are purchasing a product and they are giving some warranty guarantee type of. So warranty guarantee in the sense means what? Whatever the maintenance will be there for 4 years or 5 years warranty, the maintenance cost has to be bear by the respective company. So reference tool is very important for maintenance purpose. The fifth requirement has to satisfy in the software requirement documentation is required forethought about the life cycle of the system. Required forethought in the sense how the flow will goes. Once we are going to be doing this one, any sort of things especially you are going to be added over here. What are the roles of each user and how the cost will vary and what type of hardware requirement you have used, and all such type of things neatly recorded over this in this document. So throughout the life cycle of the system is throughout the development of the project, all sort of things you have taken care that all things has to be added or recorded over here. The last satisfaction of requirement is it has to give some acceptable responses to undesired events. In the sense, when any unknown man or a uneducated people using that your project or using your product, if knowingly or unknowingly has to done some sort of events over there, it has to be accept that response and give some suggestion like you have typely wrong the password, you have not inserted correctly the ATM card if you, the ATM product is there, or else whatever the transaction you are taking, please take your card, or else please enter the amount, please select the option. Like this, any some sort of undesired event means unknowingly, knowingly, unfortunately has to press any sort of the inputs has to given, your system, your project has to be respond for that inputs and give proper suggestion so that it can be rectified at that point. Okay, so these are the six the requirements that document has to be covered. Mainly these are the points. One is you have to specify the external system behavior constraints, we had to give some changes, and references also very important, and we had to record all the things which you required in the process of development of the project. The last one, for any undesirable events, your system has to give some responses over there. If you see in the graphical representation, this user requirements of a document is who or the roles will be involved in this project, who will be involved under this is they are going to involve. The first one is the system, the customer, the second the managers, the roles, the third one the system engineers, the fourth one the system test engineers, and the fifth one the maintenance engineers, system maintenance engineers. So these are the five different peoples. Why we are talking about the user requirements, it means if you see in the last slides which we talked in the last classes, here if you observe here in the user requirement, this is a user requirement. What actually the user requirement is talk about is, it is a natural language plus a diagram representation describing the services the system is expected to provide and the constraint. So this we are recording the statement. From whom we are going to recording the statement is from, these are the persons. As I shown you just now, these are the persons where we are going to recording the statements all in the form of natural language, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different users or 5 different roles who are going to be involved in this system or software requirement documentation. The system customer going to be specify the requirements and read them to check that they meet the needs or not. The customer specify the changes that going to be meet the specified things or requirement from the customer, whether it is meets or not. The manager has to take care of the user, the use of the requirement document to plan a bid. To plan a bid in the sense, who will give the best solution for bidding is nothing but what? Some type of auctions. So this for the system and to plan the system development process. Bid in the sense, it has to require the plan for how much the time period is required to complete the project, how many number of people are required, what sort of stuff people is required over here, what is the expected cost over this one, what are the back end we required, front end we required, the middleware what we are considering, any system requirement, hardware requirement, configuration. Every sort of the plan has to done in the bid, as well as the plans for the process of the software system development. The third, system engineers, is the duty or responsibility of this system engineering is need to understand the requirements and what the system has to develop, what system to be developed. The system engineer will take care of what the system is to be developed. That has to be very clearly the system engineer has to take care. The next is system test engineers. Test is nothing but whatever the system engineers has developed, it has to validate and test whether it is working properly for a different types of inputs we are going to giving over there. The system maintenance engineers is deals with the relationship between its parts. In the sense, whatever the requirement it is satisfying, any sort of any problems in future has come, this person, this maintenance engineer, has to take care of that all sort of stuff. Right. Now coming to the purpose of SRS, what is the main purpose of this SRS? We'll talk about this one is, the purpose is communication. Between whom? Between the customer, analysts, system developers, maintenance, all. So it also have a firm foundation for the design phase. Firm foundation, nothing but is a basic, is some sort of the initiative for which phase? For the next phase, that is which is called as design phase. It supports the system testing activities, means how we need to be tested, because based on the requirement only, we need to perform the test. Requirement in the sense, based on the patient, the test has to perform. The if you're performing all the tests in all type of human beings, all type of patients, means it doesn't give much sound, doesn't give the desired result. So based on the system, based on the documentation, how it is developed the project, based on the patient only the test will be recommended, based on the system configuration, based on the documentation, how they plan. At the same time, the testing activities also supports. It also supports for the project management and control, because we had to be take care of whether every person in the team, whether it's working properly in time. We had to track the project, whether it is going to be beyond the cost or not. We had to take care of all sorts type of things it supports. That is for, it also supports for project management and control. And it also for controlling the evolution of the system. Evolution in the sense, how good for the next generation, means next versions of the project when you release into the market, whether it supports really that same or not. So that also it gives. So because of this, the SRS is required. And if you see the standards, already we have, you have submitted the different standards here, IEEE requirement standards. Now, whatever the template you have follow for doing the week one program, the same template already you have for your projects. You know the template. In the same fashion, here also will here also there is a sort of the IEEE requirement standard is there. So these are the sections we can call. These are the chapters, like intro, introduction of your project, general description, specific requirement, any appendices is there, and the index. So basic needs, basic things it has to cover. One is introduction, two is general description, three is specific requirement, four is appendix, and five is index, right? So if you compare the same thing with your project which you are going to already submitted, the same thing, it is the same. Now let me see what actually you are covered in the introduction part. Hope you remember your template, how what the things you have covered in the intro part. In introduction, what you have kept in your SRS, like purpose, scope, any definitions, acronyms, abbreviations, references, overview. At least four or minimum 3 to 4 things has already you covered in your respective project. Hope I'm right, right? So intro part, you are going to covering the purpose, scope, any sort of definitions or acronyms or abbreviations, the references part, and overview. So this is need to cover in intro part. If you see the second thing, that is general description. In the general description, what we have done, you have kept it the product perspective, means how good it will be go, the perspective of the project, the theme, the function summary, if any, and user characteristics you are mentioning there, also the constraints, how to need to run your project, and any some sort of assumptions and dependencies is there. Such type of things we need to cover in this section, general description. If you see the third section, that is specific requirements, in this one, where we deal with the most suitable one, that is the functional requirements, the external interface, nothing but the non-functional requirements, like the performance requirements, design constraints, any specific attributes, any LETs if you are going to talking about, like security, availability, maintainability, transferability, any sort of things you covered, and also any other requirements if so, that all needs to be covered in this section. In the specific requirements, you are covering the functional requirements, external interface, nothing but the non-functional requirement, performance requirement, design constraints, and any other NFRs such as security, availability, maintainability, transferability, and other requirements. The last, any appendices is there, like any sort of the references and index as per the alphabetic order, you can add it. And if you see a summarized of this one, we can also add the chapters like preference. Preference talks about the relation, the readership, when you or for any reader of the documentation, if you want to convey any message, like which is the version number, version history, how rationally the creation of the new version is there, and if it is a version 2, like when you see the documents, document version 1, v1.0, v2.0 versions will be there in the documentation. Version to version, if you want to be give any clarification to the readers, then you can specify in the chapter. which is before the introduction part, that is preface. Preface is going to talking about the version history and how you are going to be connecting the previous version of the documentation and this version, or else any special thing is there in this documentation that will be talked in this preface. After the introduction part, if you want, you can also add the glossary. If you want, you can also add the glossary. Glossary in the sense some any technical terms, any sort of technical terms if you require, you can add your experiences as well. And user requirement definition already is there in the third chapter, that is third section. Next, we'll talk about the system architecture. If you see the system architecture, if you talk about the system architecture over here, in the system architecture, it deals with the chapter, like as I said you, only any sort of diagrammatical representation, any sort of things is there, then you can use the chapter like system architecture. So not only this template, like as I said, intro part, general description, specific requirements, appendices, index, but also you can add the preface and also you can add some glossary if you want. You can also add these two chapters in your the flow of the chapters, right? So including this, we can also add little bit of like uh, the SRS, so the system requirement specification, the models. If you want, you can add the models. In this specification, you can talk both the functional as well as non-functional requirements. If you see the system models, you can have added some graphical system models like the component diagram or object models, data flow models like DFD diagrams or ER diagrams, entity relationship diagrams. So all such type of diagrams will be learned in DBMS, data flow diagrams, ER diagrams. But in this, we'll run in the lab object diagrams and also the component diagrams. Not only that, we can also add the next chapter, that is system evaluation. Like if you want to anticipate any changes to do the hardware evaluation, you need to be allow your system to upgrade, to update your RAM or your any sort of any external hard things is required, hardware things is required, you can allow. The next chapter we can add appendices as just now we discussed, as well as index. So these are the some of the things like preface, introduction, glossary, user requirement definition, system architecture, the system requirement specification, the system models, system evaluation, appendices, index. But make sure which are the chapters is closely related to your project that you can be added. Unnecessarily, it's not mandatory to add each and every chapter over there. Whichever is required, the most important you can add over there. So roughly the description. So main descriptions, you can main points, the description you can add it in the examination. So that's about the software requirement documentation.